Ever wanted to peek into the habits of an actual millionaire? I am not talking about someone who inherited their wealth and is living off mommy and daddy's money. I am talking about someone who had to build their wealth from nothing. In this video, I'm going to talk about the habits and mindset that allowed me to go from a broke immigrant to a multi-millionaire real estate investor and entrepreneur. I'll share unfiltered and genuine insights that I believe can catapult you to the next level. Let's get into it. Number 1. Find the time. Any path to success requires effort. And that means you need to devote time to it. When I started investing in real estate over 10 years ago, I was working full-time as a corporate lawyer and had 2 kids. As you can imagine, I was super busy and exhausted at the end of the day. But I knew that I wanted something more for my future than just collecting a paycheck from my job and putting it into a retirement account that would eventually allow me to retire at 65 or 70. So I decided to buy rentals and manage them myself. I found pockets of time at night or on the weekends to do this. I made it work and now own a portfolio of rentals that is worth millions of dollars. Once that was mostly running on autopilot, I then shifted to starting a blogging and YouTube business. In the beginning, I woke up at 4 in the morning to write articles. I spent time on the weekends creating videos. And that paid off too. My online businesses generate thousands of dollars a month in cash flow. All because I found the time. I know everyone is busy, but you won't get anywhere if you don't devote the time and effort to make things happen. Number 2. Be mindful of your energy. I know this sounds a bit hokey, but you absolutely must be aware of your energy levels and find ways to boost them. Of course, getting enough sleep and keeping your body fit are obvious ways to do this. But you should also know yourself and when you are most productive. For me, it is early morning, shortly after I get my cup of coffee. I find those first couple of hours super conducive to getting things done, so that's when I do the most important and mentally demanding things of the day. If you are off in this area, you will find that you make mistakes, which can ultimately lead to losing both money and time. Number 3. Don't be afraid to copy the greats. You don't have to be the most creative or original person in the world to make a lot of money. I have found that very few people are capable of coming up with good ideas that no one has ever thought of. Most take inspiration from what has worked and try to replicate it or improve upon it. I do the same thing. I study and research the most successful people in my area and try to discover what made them so great. I then see if I can leverage that information to improve my business or investments. It seems simple and it is, but most people don't take the time and effort to do this. If you can see further by standing on the shoulders of giants, why not do so? Number 4. Focus on becoming excellent at one thing. All the personal finance gurus talk about diversification and long-term investing. That's all fine, but the whole point of diversification is to protect against losses once you have money. It is a poor strategy for people who are looking to make their first million or more. When you look at the truly rich, they didn't get there by diversifying. People like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg had an absolute obsession with making one thing work. If you want to make real money, this is what you need to do. Here's an example from my real estate days. When I started, I had no idea what I was doing and made a ton of mistakes. But I started to learn. I bought better properties, mastered my tenant screening process, and figured out how to minimize vacancies and control costs. This took a year or 2, but it absolutely transformed my real estate business. I succeeded because I did not diversify. I didn't try to learn how to flip properties or get distracted by other money-making strategies or businesses. I devoted my full attention to learning this specific industry and this specific strategy within that business. Number 5. Exploit asymmetric risk and reward. There is this thing called the risk-reward trade-off. It's an investment principle that states that the higher the potential reward, the greater the risk. So if you buy high-yielding junk bonds, you can potentially get a great return, but you run the risk of those bonds defaulting before you can make a profit. On the flip side, if you invest in US Treasuries, your risk of default is almost zero, but you are getting a paltry return. But what I do is try to find opportunities that break the risk-reward trade-off. I want something that will give me outsized returns with very little risk. Is that a pipe dream? No, it isn't, but there is a rub. You need to have knowledge and expertise that eliminates or massively reduces the risk, but keeps the upside. Here's an example. Starting a restaurant is super risky and expensive. The failure rate is high. But if you are an experienced and successful restaurateur, you have figured out exactly what you need to do to make a restaurant profitable. You know how to find a location that works, you know how to market the opening of your restaurant, you know how to hire reliable staff, and you know how to operate the business efficiently, so it makes money. This knowledge creates an asymmetric risk-reward scenario. They still have the potential for high reward, but their expertise drives down the risk to a far lower level. Number 6. Tenacity, tenacity, tenacity. If you dare to try something big, failure is bound to find you at some point. After all, nothing worthwhile comes easy. So it is important when faced with failure to not give up. How do I do this? Well, it's not easy, especially when you have devoted a lot of time and energy to something. What I do is try to ignore my emotions and go full analytical mode. I objectively examine what went wrong, what worked, and see where I can improve. Usually that gives me a jolt of motivation to try again, but now with a smarter plan. If you continue to do this, you can find success over the long term. Number 7. Step back and take in the big picture. Look, money is an important part of life, but it is still just a part of it. Too often, we get so obsessed over it that we lose sight of what's important. Remember to wake up each morning grateful for the life you have and the opportunities that may come your way each day. It should bring a smile to your face. I have found that taking just a few minutes each day to reflect on all I have to be thankful about really rejuvenates my spirit and clears my head. You may think that doesn't matter to your financial success, but I can tell you it makes the journey far more enjoyable. So there you have it. 7 habits that have helped me to become a millionaire. I'm not saying following these habits will automatically make you rich, but I have found them to be valuable in getting me to where I am today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for watching.